All right, welcome back everybody to another live stream here on Facebook Live. My name is Patrick France. I'm a senior instructor here at VectorVest. Glad to be with everybody. Before we jump into it today, let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. Let me know that the audio and the video is coming through for you. Also, make sure that the notification is coming through, that you guys got the notification here today. Want to make sure all that's working for you guys out there. So once again, welcome. Every single Thursday, if you're new here, we go live and we talk about the stock market, talk about the VectorVest stock advisory app, and how to best utilize it to consistently outperform the market and make money for yourselves. So that way you can become financially independent. That's really been our biggest goal here at VectorVest, is to help individuals out there learn how to take control of their own trading and grow their portfolios or their retirement accounts, whatever it may be, in a way that's comfortable for them, in a way that will outperform the market again and again. Hey there, Jay Tuner, they're saying mug. Wrong room for that one there. Hey, Ramon, Frederick, good morning. Zero notifications today. I'm gonna have to take a look into that there. Hey, Mark, hopefully you're doing well. All right, so I will look into that here in a little bit, but for now, let's go ahead. We'll jump right into the app, start taking a look at what's going on here today. And then I've built a cherry-picked watch list, you can say, that we're going to be talking about here. I'll explain how I got it, where some of these stocks come from, but we're going to be talking about marijuana stocks. If you couldn't tell by the title, it's been a huge run-up already, but we're going to take a look to see if there's still more improvement or still more room for them to grow. Then, as always, we save the fan favorite towards the very end, where we'll show you how to analyze your own stocks in realistically less than 10 seconds. So if you're looking for your own stocks to be analyzed, you want to see how easy it can be utilizing the stock advisory app, make sure to stick around towards the very end, and we'll definitely analyze those for you. All right. So with that, let's go ahead, jump right in, take a look at what's going on here today, and then jump into our topic, because I'm sure you guys aren't going to want to miss this one. All right, so as we can see right now, we are 3 ticks into the yellow, surprisingly, after a day like yesterday where we had one of the highest buy to sell ratio readings we've seen in quite some time, which we'll see here in a moment. But market's taken a little bit of a breather after yesterday's update. So market is neutral right now, and VectorVest advocates caution when buying stocks at this time. If we scroll down here, we get to the color guard, where we see the price is actually down just a little bit from yesterday when compared to the previous day, but still higher week over week. The RT, same situation, still higher week over week, but lower than it was from the prior day. Buy to sell ratio, same situation. Yesterday we had a reading of 10.86. Once again, one of the highest readings we've seen in quite some time here on the buy to sell ratio, seeing a big push in the market. And, after such a big push like we saw yesterday, obviously, no surprise that we're going to be seeing the market taking a little bit of a breather on the next day. So after that, we then get to the MTI. As we always say, keep your eye on the MTI. Anytime it's above the level of 1.6, it tells us the market is in overbought territory. As we've talked about many, many times here, though, it can stay in overbought territory for, quite some time, as we've seen recently. So just because it's an overbought territory doesn't mean you need to go sell everything and, head to the fences. It just simply tells us that we need to be cautious. And if we do take any new trades, make sure our stop criteria and our money management is adjusted appropriately for the current conditions. After that, we then get the trend where we see we are in an up trend. So therefore, the first part is looking at the weekly trend of the market, what we like to call the primary wave. Second part is looking at the underlying trend of the market, or the MTI. And then finally, we get the calls column, which stands for our confirmed calls. Now, our confirmed calls are our most conservative timing system. They're going to be our last signal we get to get into the market and our last signal we get to get out. As you can see, we still remain in that confirmed up situation as of today. Let's see. Ken saying dumped some junk, picked up some bargains today, adding value to the portfolio. Hey, not bad, Ken. Glad to see it. So yeah, we see, everything's looking pretty good right now. We are in overbought territory. So if you guys are happy with the way the market's been playing out all throughout the beginning of the year, coming in from last year, don't forget, hit that like button, hit that share button. We're just shy, or we're just over about 1,000 people away from our 30,000 follower goal on our Facebook page. So if you haven't already gone and liked the page and followed the page, make sure to do so now. Tell all your friends, tell all your family to go to our VectorVest page, like it and follow it on our road to 30,000. Once we get to that point, we may see another giveaway or something special we can do for that. So with that, let's scroll down, take a look at the advanced declines. Now, this is something that we definitely want to be cautious of or be aware of. We see we're at 35% roughly of stocks moving higher, but 55% of stocks moving lower. Well, if we scroll down here, we see all the major indices are in the green, but, more stocks are declining than advancing. So without VectorVest, you would see, the major indices are up. This is the time I should go in, jump into some stocks, buy some stocks here today. But if we look at the advanced declines, it tells us we want to be a little bit more hesitant to do that today. We've seen some great days over the last few weeks, but right now, today, so far, just not the best time we've had to be buying new stocks or adding new stocks to the portfolio. If you do, make sure that you are being cautious. And once again, as we mentioned earlier, adjust your criteria, your money management appropriately for the current conditions of the market. Market's overpriced. Yeah. When you compared to, 2001, the dot-com bubble, really, we're not that overvalued, in comparison. I could see it, the market's definitely been overextended, which, could cause a correction or a pullback. People are going to take profits, rotate into new areas. But for now, take it while it lasts. And, we talked about it last week, how to be prepared and making sure you guys don't get caught off guard if it does start to sell off. Rather be prepared and not need it than need something and not prepared. So that's what we did last week. If you missed out on that, go take a look at it. Awesome. Thank you for that. Okay, so we see what the market is doing. The VectorVest composite is really the only index that's down, but the Dow is up about a 0.1%. NASDAQ's up about half. S&P is up about 0.2% so far. So with that, let's go ahead. Take a look at our new watch list that I built. I'm going to see if I can get this added into the stock advisory app for you guys. So if you don't want to have to take down notes or don't want to have to write these symbols down, that's okay. I'm going to try to get it added in. I got to talk to our dev team, make sure we can do that. But it shouldn't be an issue. It's not 100% guarantee, but if we can't get it added in, I'll make sure we get you guys the list of stocks either next week or somehow before that. But most likely we're going to be able to get this added into your program as well. So with that, let's go ahead, jump right into it here today. So I'm going to go into the watch list here and marijuana 2021. And Tony's asking, what makes up the VectorVest composite? So Tony, there's about 8,467 stocks that we track in the U.S. market. It's different for every market, but if we're talking about the U.S., that's what it is. You can see the exact numbers right above me in the VectorVest 7 software. For each country, the number may be different based upon how many stocks they have in their market. But essentially, it's an arithmetic indexed average of all 8,500 stocks that we track. Just like, the S&P or the Dow or the NASDAQ are arithmetic indexed averages. Same with the VectorVest composite, but instead of looking at, the Dow's 30 or the NASDAQ's 100 or the S&P's 500, it's taking into account about 8,500 stocks. So we feel it gives us a better representation on what's actually happening in the market rather than just focusing on one small section. All right. With that, let's go ahead, jump right into it here today. So this is a list of marijuana stocks. As we know, there's a lot of speculation right now that marijuana could really thrive throughout the next 4 years, with political backing behind it. And so what I've done is I was working hard, found a list of stocks found some of the best performers, whether they be from, some of the safest stocks, whether they be some of the highest momentum stocks or just the most consistent uptrends. I've went through all the stocks in the marijuana industry and picked out about 15 of them that really seem to be some of the best performers now and look like they have some of the best potential going forward. So with that, let's go ahead, take a look at some of them. As you can see right now, it is defaulted by our master indicator VST, standing for value, safety, and timing. But one of the great things about building your own watch list and having these stocks in a watch list is that you can re-rank them in a matter of seconds. So let's go ahead, take a look at Comfort Index. If you're not familiar with Comfort Index, it's kind of like a technical indicator where it's looking at the stock's ability to withstand a severe, lengthy price decline or a sell-off. So essentially what the CI is looking at is the stock's ability to bounce back after any sort of a pullback. So the stocks that, pull back one day and then continue to move higher, pull back for a few days and then instantly head back higher, taking out their previous highs, those are the stocks that are going to have the highest CI ratings. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. Starting off with the very first one. Now, as you can see, just by looking at the analysis of them, the RV, RS are most likely going to be below 1. That's because these stocks are still speculative. If you think about it, people are speculating of what's going to happen over the next few years with these stocks, what the government regulations are going to be like, or if they're going to, minimize that regulation there. And so people are speculating, thinking that they will, and looking forward to the years ahead that these stocks will thrive. So right now it is speculation. These companies don't have consistent balance sheets. They're not growing their earnings quarter over quarter, year over year, and had, a 10-year plus longevity factor included in that. So there is a lot of speculation. But if we look at it, look at the timing on this one. 1.83, really strong short-term uptrend. And if we go take a look at the graph, right now it's on a 1 year, but really goes back to November 16th. You can see a nice steady rise from bottom left to upper right. That's exactly what you want to see with the winning candidate. Every time it starts pulling back, it quickly rallies back and hits a new high. And those are the kind of stocks that, you tend to favor. That's because the reason why behind that is that the stocks are already doing what you want them to be doing. I can't count how many times I've talked to people over the years here at VectorVest that, are buying stocks that are moving lower from upper left to lower right. And, on the expectation that they expect them to come back and rally back, when all those stocks do is continue to move lower and lower over time. And then, by this point, they're rebalancing or cost averaging, if you will, and getting themselves into a world of trouble. Now, if those stocks do happen to come back, yeah, they can come back ahead, but most of the time, people don't want to sit there the whole entire time watching their portfolio diminish. So that's why if you find stocks that are exhibiting the patterns that you want to see when you own it, i.e., moving from bottom left to upper right, those are the stocks that tend to continue to do that once you get into them. That's why we're looking at some of these here today. So first one, Jushi Holdings, nice steady rise. Once again, great look so far. If we go to the next one, I'll go, let's say 3 month. Same situation. Nice steady rise from bottom left to upper right. Really nice looking earnings. Earnings are consistently growing here. You have, a slight pullback recently, but that could create a good buying opportunity. 3 and the 8 are still positive for a short-term period. So yeah, there's definitely, a lot of potential here with this one. Richard's asking about the value of only 75 cents. Richard, that's a great question. And, once again, these are speculative stocks. So based upon their balance sheet, the stock really is only worth about 75 cents. But look at Tesla or look at Amazon. People are willing to pay that premium on the expectations of what to get back from that stock in the future. One of the best examples was actually told to me by one of our subscribers out on the road a few years ago. And he compared it to buying, a high-end sports car like a Ferrari or something. One of those, let's say, costs roughly $250,000. Does that mean it took $250,000 to build that car? Not at all. What that is, people are willing to pay that $250,000 price tag so that way they can, have the right to, have or own that Ferrari and drive that Ferrari around and have people see them in it. That's exactly what people are doing here. They're overvalued, but that's okay. Just because the stock is overvalued doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Just means that, people are paying a premium for this stock right now. And if you do get into it, just be a little bit more careful and, be more aggressive with your entry and exits on these kind of stocks. How do you analyze stock one over? How do you analyze? So that's what we're going to talk about here today, Mark. Getting a little bit ahead, but I like where your mind's at though. All right. So once again, TCNNF, these are high CI stocks. That ability to snap back is strong with these. They have a resilience factor that's high, great for short-term uptrends. These are going to be the stocks in the near term that could have that ability to, continue to move higher even after such a big blast that we've seen with these stocks over the last few months. So GTBIF, once again, nice steady rise in earnings. Price is steadily rising as well. IIPR, I know you guys ask about this stock almost on a weekly basis, so I wanted to add it in here. IIPR, great CI, nice steady rise, a little bit bigger swings, but earnings are steadily rising as well. GRWG, this has been one of the top performers here for some time. We've had it as one of our hot stock picks, brought it up in multiple hot stock panels. Obviously, if you follow along with all of our socials, you know about this stock, and it's been making great money. And a lot of people have been, really successful with this one. And then next, TRSSF. So earnings a little bit more inconsistent, but you see every time this stock is pulled back, it rebounds and moves higher. So great resiliency factor on this one. All right, so those are some of the top CI stocks. But what about some of the best fundamental stocks out of them? If you're looking for more long-term, start off with RS. RS is a great long-term indicator for you guys out there that are looking to buy and hold and have these stocks outperform the market, over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, however long you're planning on for it. So a lot of these stocks are still speculative, as we mentioned, but a lot of these stocks have potential. So if you want some of the stocks that could thrive the most, that have some of the better fundamentals right now, that could help set them up better for the long term, use the RS indicator. It's a great indicator to use. And if we look, GRWG has one of the highest RSs out of the whole entire list. One of the very few that has an RS rating above 1, actually. APHA, Afria, another big name, has one of the higher RS ratings. GTBIF. Now, this is one, even though it has an RS rating below 1, every sort that I was going through, this stock continues to show itself, no matter how you rank these stocks. So GTBIF is one that, I've never seen anybody talk about. I've never heard anybody talk about. Nobody's really asked about it in our streams every Thursday, but no matter how you rank these stocks, GTBIF comes to the top of the list consistently. So, that's one to really consider here. And as you can see, so on and so on. Now, the further down you go, the more speculative or the riskier the ones are going to be. So out of this list of 15, you get Harvest Health, Kronos, which is a popular one that you see come up quite a lot when people talk about marijuana stocks. Hexo is another one. India Global, another one. You can see all of these have pretty low RS scores. So if you're looking for long-term, once again, start at the top of the list, sort them by RS. That's going to bring the best fundamentally sound stocks out there right to the top of the list for you. All right. So now we've looked at it for most consistent uptrend. We've looked at some of the safest stocks in the marijuana industry. The next one is for you momentum traders out there. We're going to look at some of the highest or strongest momentum stocks out of the marijuana industry. So we'll go ahead and sort it by RT. And JUSHF is a great one, one of the strongest RT ratings out of the whole entire list. Now, when I went out of all 200 marijuana stocks when I was building this list, this was actually the top one. As you can see, it's gaining even more here today, followed by CRLBF. This was one that had one of the lower RS ratings, but has a high RT. So you're taking on more risk for that short-term momentum trade or short-term gain that you're looking for right now. And to get back to your question mark of how do you analyze one stock compared to the other, it depends on your goal. If you're looking for short-term trading, obviously sort this list by RT. You can find the highest momentum ones right now. If you're looking for long-term, your focus should be on RS. Or if you're looking for more of a swing trade rather than just a quick buck, look at CI. CI would be a great opportunity for that. Because those are going to have some of the most resilience when we're looking at them. So if we go take a look, read the RT 1.83, really nice, strong short-term uptrend. Take a look at the graph again. You can see just hitting a new high here today. CRLBF, as you can see, great momentum. Earnings looks good as well. As we go through them, these are all going to be some of the higher momentum stocks out of that marijuana industry. So once again, if you're just tuning in, I see a lot of new people tuning in. This list was created by, looking at some of the top performers based on the fundamentals, adding some stocks that were some of the highest momentum plays, and third, looking just at popular names that everybody talks about that you see on the headlines and seeing how those compare to some of the better, ways of utilizing VectorVest to find some of the better performers. So that's why we were doing this here. It's a great list of not only the popular names, but also some names that you may not be familiar with that, based off the VectorVest analysis, could be better plays actually than the ones you hear the talking heads on TV talking about. So Harvest Health, as you can see, just finally looking at that earnings per share, finally starting to break even, coming out of negative territory. Price action taking a nice pop from that move as well. TCNNF once again. Kronos. Canopy Growth. IIPR. And then APHA. So, Tony's asking, can we show the RS rating again? Sure. Just go ahead and change it to RS. So, based off RS, the only one out of the whole entire industry that had an RS rating above 1 was Grow Generation, GRWG. But then you have APHA, GTBIF that are close, IIPR, Canopy Growth that are close, but not quite there yet. So all of these are still going to be more risky or have more risk involved with them, which is no surprise. There hasn't been any actual legislation passed. There hasn't been any decriminalization passed on a federal level here in the US. So of course, there's still risk associated with these. And until those changes happen, there is always going to be risk associated with these kind of stocks as well. So yeah, that's the list. If anybody was writing these down, I'll just put them up here again. So GTBIF, CRLBF, TCNNF, IIPR, GRWG, PLNHF, JUSHF. As you can see, a lot of these have the 5 letters telling us that they're pink sheets. They are more speculative or risky stocks. So just keep that in mind as well when looking at these stocks for yourself. If you're somebody who's not really short-term or more aggressive natured, these may not be the best list, but that's the great thing about what we do here every Thursday is we try to cover lots of different areas and not just focus on, one type of trading, because we understand there's lots of different types of investors out there, and we want to show you how you can get the most out of your VectorVest stock advisory app, regardless of what your trading preferences are. So hopefully that brings you, or that gives you guys time to write those down, get those if you want together. I'm going to try to get these added in for you over the next day or two, but it shouldn't be an issue. But just in case, this is a list Worst case scenario, I'll get them all down for you guys, and I'll have them next week in a list that you guys can copy and paste there. Let's see. Is RS, VST, and CI were all high good? Would that be a top pick? It could be. Most likely if RS is good, VST is good. If VST is good, their CI is most likely going to be good too. But everybody's different. Everybody's going to focus on one key indicator more so than another. So it really depends on personal preference. That's why I wanted to show you the list and show you, how to resort it, how fast you can resort it to find the ones that would be best suited for your personal style of investing. So that's the great thing about it. I can give a list of 15 stocks and everybody could find probably, one or the other stocks that'd be better for them that they like a little bit better. So if you take a look at GTBIF, for example, some of the highest RV. So RV is another great way to sort by, it's looking at the 1 to 3 year price appreciation potential. So these stocks tend to be more aggressive. As you can see, a lot of them come up here with a high RV with GTBIF, IIPR, Planet 13 Holdings, TrueLeave, Grow Generation once again. So you have a lot of the bigger names coming in when you look at the RV or the long-term potential. So as you can see, you can resort this list and really rank it by whatever you're most comfortable with to get the most out of it to set yourself up right for 2021. All right. So if you guys have any other questions about this watch list, feel free to let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already hit that share button down in the bottom right-hand corner, make sure to do so right now. Share it with all your friends, share it with all your family, share it with your investment groups. That way we continue to grow our community and, help us reach that goal of 30,000 followers. We're just a little over 1,000 followers away from there. So make sure to do so. All that helps me out, continues to grow our groups, which is really, one of the biggest benefits doing it on social media or doing it on Facebook is that everybody's on Facebook. And that way, no matter whether you're part of VectorVest or not, you can still get this kind of information and see how to benefit from it. So, if you haven't already hit that, once again, smash that like button, smash that share button. All that helps me out. All right. With that, let's go ahead, get into it. If you guys have stocks that you want to analyze, go ahead and start putting them in the comments below, and we'll go ahead and start to analyze them here for you. All right, so first one I saw coming in was Mara, M-A-R-A. So M-A-R-A. We'll take our time with this one, work through the indicators, make sure everybody's on the same page, and then we'll quickly go through the next. All right, so RV. Well, first off, all 4 of these indicators are cast on a scale of 0 to 2. Above 1 is favorable, below 1, unfavorable. We look at the RV, it's looking at the long-term potential over the next 1 to 3 years compared to a AAA corporate bond in the stock, or of the stock. So RV at 0.92 tells us poor long-term potential. RS, looking at the consistency of their fundamentals. So essentially, it's an indicator of risk. Above 1, less risk. Below 1, more risk. Obviously, more risk associated with this stock. Timing at 0.78 tells us it's on a downtrend because the RT is looking at the short-term price trend of the stock and also the magnitude of this, the move. So at 0.78, it's in a pretty steady downtrend right now. Overall, stock is not favorable. So this is a speculative stock. It had, a heyday for a few days, but that quickly, faded, and we're now seeing the stock coming back down to earth. All right, CLX. Also, I appreciate everybody who entered into the giveaway that we announced the winner to last week. That's given me a lot of ideas, and we've got a lot of big changes coming to the stream, so expect to see those over the next few weeks as well. All right, CLX, great long-term potential, less risk associated with this stock. However, just not the time to be into it. A 0.80 tells us in a steady decline, telling us right now, most likely keep it on our radar, but not the time to be into it. Overall, the stock's favorable because it has good fundamentals, but the timing's just not quite right for this one. Let's see. HRVSF. VSF. Let's see. Where's the rating? Let's go down. Actually, it's right at the top. What am I doing? Yeah, it's rated a hold. Yeah, it is a hold rating right now because to get a buy, there's 4 criteria that must be met. To get a buy, the VST has to be greater than 1. The RT has to be greater than 1. The price has to be greater than its stop price. And the price has to be pulling away from that stop price. With that sideways move we've seen over the last few days, that tells us that that price is not technically pulling away from the stop price at this time. Therefore, gets a hold rating right now. But if we analyze it, poor RV, poor RS, we know this is a speculative play, but really strong RT. So if you're a short-term momentum trader, this could be a good one for you. Let's see. CEVA. There we go. So CEVA, poor long-term potential, about average risk associated with this stock. You have a really strong short-term uptrend, however, so therefore the stock's favorable right now. MRS. Not seeing that, Freeman. Let me know if there's a typo or something with that one. REGI. REGI. Great long-term potential, less risk associated with this stock. You have a really strong short-term uptrend right now. Therefore, stock's definitely favorable. And even with that strong short-term uptrend that we've been experiencing, the stock is still considered undervalued. Even as the market's been rallying and everybody keeps talking about things being overvalued right now, there's still some hidden gems out there, and you guys have found one here with this one. All right, let's see. Box, BOX. Box, great long-term potential, but does have a lot of risk to get to that potential. However, the short-term uptrend, it isn't an uptrend, but not a really strong short-term uptrend. Stock is favorable, but, typically we like to see an RT of above 1.1 or greater. Let's see, ACB. ACB, so poor long-term potential. It is more risky compared to the average stock out there. Timing 1.38. If we look at that list that we were looking at here today, I thought about putting this one in, but no matter which way you filtered this one out, it never came to the top of the list. So therefore, I left this one out for today and wanted to show, some of the other stocks that, are flying under the radar right now. You do have a short-term uptrend, and it is slightly favorable, but after seeing some of those here today, I think we can find some better opportunities than Aurora right now. All right, let's see. Can you do a similar comparison for solar stocks in the future? Yeah, Mark. If you guys like this and you guys like this, new list of stocks that are, maybe flying under the radar in a really popular field or industry or sector in the market, if we get, let's say, 10 likes, if we can get 10 shares on today's video, we'll do a special watch list for you guys on solar stocks next week. So if you haven't already shared this video, we got to get at least 10 shares on this video here alone, and we'll do the solar for next week. All right, NBEV, let's go ahead and take a look. NBEV. So NBEV, great long-term potential, but does have a lot of risk associated with that potential. Timing at 0.91 tells us it's in a downtrend right now. Therefore, the stock is not favorable. Let's go ahead. See, QDEL. QDEL, you have great long-term potential, less risk associated with this stock. However, timing is a little off right now. Keep an eye on the timing. Looks like it may be starting to come back, but until that RT crosses above 1, really until it crosses above 1.1, just simply hold off, wait for that better buying opportunity here. Etsy, ETSY. There we go. So Etsy, great long-term potential, less risk associated with this stock. You have a really nice short-term uptrend, making this stock favorable currently. PTON. If I can get that, there we go. There we go. All right, PTON, poor long-term potential, but about average risk associated with it. You have a really nice short-term uptrend, making the stock still favorable. UCTT. There we go. Great long-term potential, less risk associated with this stock. It's essentially going right to the moon right now, making this stock favorable overall. BYKI. Let's see. Not finding that there, Phil. What about ETFs for marijuana stocks? Ashok, yeah, you can definitely do ETFs. A lot of the ETFs I was finding didn't have quite the volume that would make them comfortable for most people. And you can definitely do that. I wanted to highlight more specific stocks out of the area. But there's a few ETFs, for the marijuana industry that you can pick up. PRNT. PRNT, so 3D printing ETF. Therefore, whenever looking at an ETF, your primary focus is going to be on the RT. 1.78 tells us it's in a really strong short-term uptrend. Therefore, it's a buy right now. BBGI. There we go. BBGI, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. Timing is in an uptrend, but if we're going to be getting into these riskier stocks or speculative stocks, we like to see the RT of a level of 1.4 or greater, which it doesn't meet right now. Therefore, stock's not favorable currently. SPWR. Yeah, speculative play still because once again, everybody's speculating on what the current or the new administration is planning on doing over the next 4 years. So hasn't been set in stone quite yet. So there is some speculative, part of this trade. So therefore, RV and RS are both below 1, but the timing at 2.0 blasting off to the moon right now. MRS is a Canadian stock. Yeah, unfortunately, we're on the US side right now, but the same analysis that we do here could be applied to any other market that we track there. BMY, great long-term potential, about average risk associated with it. Stock's pretty much flat, so it's favorable, but would like to see that timing pick up a little bit. AMAT, sure. AMAT. So AMAT, great long-term potential, less risk associated with this stock, really nice short-term uptrend, making this stock favorable overall. Once again, another undervalued stock here as well. Let's see, GPro. So good long-term potential, does have a little bit of risk associated with it. However, you have a really nice short-term uptrend, making this stock favorable. Raymond, so is that a Bitcoin thing? If it is, I know we've been looking at trying to get Bitcoin added in. I don't know where that stands. I just heard people talking about it a few days ago. All you got to do is send an email to, let's see, it's in the software here under the views for Friday. New stock request right here, AngieH@VectorVest.com. If you send an email to that with the ticker symbol, we can get it added in, or at least give you a response back for what the delay is there. All right. Let's see. ALDX. There we go. All right, ALDX, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with this stock. It's in a really nice short-term uptrend, making the stock favorable for speculative traders. Enphase, of course, every single week we got to look at Enphase, I feel like there, Jay. All right, so looking at Enphase, great long-term potential, less risk associated with this stock, solid fundamentals, really strong short-term uptrend. Overall, the stock's definitely favorable here. Let's see. NNDM, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, but really strong short-term uptrend, making this stock favorable overall. Let's see. Can we plot RT on the app? Yeah, you can put it on there. Let's go ahead, take a look at one GLGDF. GLGDF. So good long-term potential. A little bit more risk associated with it, however. Really nice short-term uptrend. Overall, stock's definitely favorable. If you go to the graph, change the graph settings at the bottom there. Indicator, change that to RT. And boom, right there at the bottom of the graph, you have your RT on there. All right, we'll do two more here today. So EXPI. EXPI, great long-term potential, less risk associated with this stock. You have a really nice short-term strong uptrend. Overall, this stock is definitely favorable. Asher. So once again, if you're just now tuning in, asking about clean energy stocks, if you guys like today's stream where we talked about some of the a different way of looking at some of the marijuana stocks, if you guys want to see another handpicked list of clean energy stocks, we have to get at least 10 shares on the video. Let's see. We've already got 17. All right, so let's see 40 shares on today's video by next Wednesday, and then we'll do the clean energy, or by next Monday. So after the weekend, we need at least 40 shares on this video alone. So tell all your friends to go like and share this video. Get it out there. If we can hit 40 shares on today's video, we'll do a special bonus, or we'll do a special watch list of clean energy stocks for next week. So you guys have a goal set for yourselves. All right, and last one we'll take a look at, IMPUY. So platinum, great long-term potential, about average risk associated with this stock currently though. You have a really nice short-term uptrend. Overall, stock's definitely favorable here. So like what we see, it's undervalued, looks good. Really nice consistent uptrend as well. Yeah, everything about this looks solid there, Richard. All right, so with that, let's go ahead. Market is still 3 ticks into the yellow. The color guard is neutral. We advocate caution currently. We scroll down. The buy to sell ratio is pulling back a little bit more. Price is pulling back a little bit as well. MTI is pulling back. Yeah, I said 10. I'm changing that because you guys have already blown 10 out of the water. So I can't make it too easy. Let's see how much you guys want to see that for next week. So if we can hit 40 likes by Monday of next week, we'll go ahead and do another special watch list or custom watch list on clean energy stocks. With that, let's see. Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. If you guys aren't already familiar, head over to our YouTube page as well, where Glenn Tompkins does Trending Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. As you know, he does great live stream content as well. So if you guys have never checked that out, make sure to go do so. Yes, Ramon, I definitely have something I want to do for a stop strategy session. It's going to be something like we've never done before. Unfortunately, I can't really say too much about it right now because it's going to be something completely new. But definitely keep an eye on that. I do have something big coming for the next time we do the stop strategy. For now, we have some basic stop strategy sessions that we've done that you can check out under our live section. But specifically, the next stop strategy I want to do is going to be something that has never been done on our streams before. So I'm waiting till I get approval that I can talk about it. I'm real excited about it, but just, have to wait for everybody to get the green light on it before I can show everybody and highlight it for a week. All right. So with that, on that note, take care, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your trading day. Take care. Be safe. Have a great weekend. And make sure, if you haven't already shared this video, we got to have at least 40 shares on this video by Monday. And we'll do a special custom watch list for you guys, specifically on the clean energy stocks. So on that note, have fun. See you guys later. See you all next week. Bye for now, everybody.